All right, welcome to Tinfoil Hat, live from the Wise Wolf Gold and Silver Studios. Just go to samtripoli.gold, use the promo code Tinfoil. You too can get in on the Precious Metals game for as little as $50 a month. Very excited to have our guest on. He's been on before. He's back again. I just think he's just a breath of fresh air. He's one of the best journalists in the game. Honored to have him on. Please welcome James Lee. How are you, brother?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me on, Sam. Really appreciate it, man.
Man, for those who...
And right back at you. Thank you for always sharing my work, by the way. I see you, popping up retweets.
All the time. Anything you put out, I retweet. It's important. I'm trying to... I don't know. We're probably stuck in the same algorithm, so it might be just us in the echo chamber on Twitter. Something's happened to Twitter. There was that brief moment when it was fire. Then it was good. Now... I don't know what's going on with it. I think if they can't control it, they flood it or they destroy it. But I'm trying to let everybody know, put it up everywhere. My shit from Instagram goes to my Facebook, and then that is just a fucking war in the comment section, which is really weird because Facebook is my friends, and it's the nastiest. The things that people say to me is just unholy, dude.
Do you read the comments?
Well, I just know there's certain people that like to come in and just call me a fascist or a racist. And it's really funny to me, especially the racist thing. I'm not. I love everybody. I just don't care if you call me a racist because it's been thrown at anything that you don't like. So it doesn't really. The fascist thing makes me laugh because I literally want as little government as possible. Like, I'm very vocal about that. And the notion that I would want the government to consolidate their power is hilarious to me. And it's just proof that there's no real initiation into the discussion. Just anyone can walk in this kind of era of arrogant ignorance that we have right now. Like, everyone's instantly an expert in everything all the time. Like, there's no like research. It's just like, I don't like this. And they just yell. And it just makes me laugh. Because
they kind of build the argument after they've decided what they believe. You know what I mean? It's
and you just watch people with old data or propaganda data. And you're like, that's just propaganda, what you're saying right there. And you can't, it's the old saying, it's easier to fool someone than to convince them they've been fooled. But anyways, James, for those who may not be familiar with your work, those who live under a rock, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and where our listeners can find you?
Absolutely. Well, you can find me right now on YouTube, Instagram. I just got on Facebook because I was told that's where the place is to be, apparently, according to Sam. That the comments are popping off in there.
It pops off, dude.
And I'm on X, recently banned from TikTok because I was apparently, crossing the line too much there. But a little bit about what I do. Essentially, I just do research, open source research. Everybody has access to this kind of information, and I make videos about what I'm learning about. So essentially, it's just citizen journalism is what I call it. Just trying to make sense of the world, trying to figure out what the PSYOP is, the PSYOP within the PSYOP, and hopefully trying to unite people. I'm trying to figure out ways, honestly, to make people realize that we just have more in common than different, and they're trying to divide us on purpose. That's ultimately the goal.
That is the goal. That is the goal. Everything must be looked through in a demoralizing lens. How are they trying to demoralize you? So you were on a internet show. What was that you just got let go from?
Breaking Points.
Breaking Points. Now, I found that very weird to me because Crystal, or whatever her name is, seems to be anti-Zionist. But is there a feeling that what you were talking about is the reason you were let go? Because I thought that kind of aligned with a lot of the things I've been hearing her say.
So based on everything I heard, because I was never told the exact reason why I was no longer going to be contributing there. It was just a quick email. Thank you so much for your work. That's it. What I heard, because I don't know if you know who he is, but Kyle Kalinske, he is Crystal's wife, and he was doing, I guess, a podcast, and somebody asked him the question in the super chats, and somebody sent that clip to me, and he said it was because I interviewed a guy named Elijah Schaefer, who is, I guess people consider him a
Oh yeah, we know Elijah. Yeah.
Okay, so people consider him a right-wing commentator, all kinds of different epithets thrown at him. But I was interviewing him for a piece about how he was being sued by Kash Patel's girlfriend, Alexis Wilkins, for implying or insinuating that she was a Mossad honeypot. And I more so wanted to get the story of how this is a censorious type of regime and how, they're using lawfare to silence dissenters and podcasters. And I didn't ask him about his positions on, white supremacy or whatever. But I guess what they did with that is they said, well, hey, we can't run this piece. And for whatever reason, I think they said it was for reasons of, it was potentially defamation and this and that. And so I was like, it's fine, no worries. It's your guys' channel. You guys should be able to do whatever you want to do with it. I instead then I posted that on my own channel. Obviously, I was, that whenever you do something like that, that's like poking the bear a little bit, right? If you're saying, hey man, you're not going to post it, I'm going to post it. Obviously, I knew the sort of backlash I can get from that. So I think that's ultimately what led to my dismissal. If I were to guess, I mean, that's what Kyle said, and he was kind of smearing me for saying, for being sort of a right winger and, doing a horrible softball interview, basically. But I'm like, I wasn't trying to interview him and push on those issues. I was talking about censorship. I was talking about lawfare. So I didn't really see the need to like, hey, why do you feel like, white people are the best or whatever it is,
Yeah, it's very interesting to me how the open-minded people are the most closed-minded. You know what I'm saying? To the people that want everybody to accept all these different lifestyles and ways of living are very closed-minded to the side they don't like. And, the key when you're an interviewer, unless it's your brand, which is, ambush journalism, is to allow your guest to be seen in the best light they can be seen in, saying what they want to say. I think that's the most important thing. And I've always said this, if your belief is so strong, you should be able to hear opposing talking points and data if you really believe what you want to believe. Because for me, and I say this on this show all the time, if I'm wrong, let me know. I will come out and admit I'm wrong. I've erased tweets where I'm like, oh, I got that completely wrong. I'll take that down. I flunked first grade. I make no, I'm 100% fallible. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm just a dick joke comic trying to figure out what the lizard people are doing so I'm trying my hardest. I think it's very weird how people on a certain side, and maybe it's both sides as you go farther into the extreme, refuse to hear anything from the other side. And I think it's
this one wasn't even about one side or another side. I'm talking to him about a very specific issue.
But you think it might be, but it's definitely that he's coming from that other side that they might have had problems with it, right?
Right. He's basically saying, well, he's a horrible human being. So anytime you talk to a quote unquote horrible human being, you need to bring up, all the issues that they take they have issue with. But for me, that wasn't the point of the interview. If I was bringing him on and to debate, white supremacy, okay, I can understand that. But if I'm bringing him on to talk about censorship, I don't see necessarily why I would throw in there and say, oh, why are you a white supremacist, by the way, before we get into all the censorship stuff.
Yeah, it's just interesting to me. The people want to accept everything, don't want to hear from people they don't like. And that's just shocking to me.
Although I will say that was the reason that I heard publicly. But I do know from a private perspective, the producer did reach out to me. This was months before. And this was when I was doing, a lot of the Charlie Kirk coverage. And evidently, Sagar, who is the other host there, was getting calls, I've been told, from people saying, hey, who the fuck is this James Lee guy? Does he work for you? So apparently I was pissing some people off with the coverage I was doing outside of the Breaking Points channel. I was, I'm doing my own investigations, and evidently people caught wind of that and reached out to him for whatever reason.
That's weird to me as well, because the people who are constantly pushing, trans lifestyle would get upset that maybe you're saying that wasn't a trans furry person. Like maybe it was someone else. That seems to be something they would like to hear. It's just an interesting thing. And then because you've worked with them, I have friends of mine that are very big in the game, right? The Rogans and the Tim Dillons and all them, and I know them on a personal level, and then I see how people talk about them on the internet, and it doesn't match what I know the private conversations, the talks behind closed doors, where they're just the same person all the time, and they're not like there's not this like kind of hidden hand involved. And again, I could be wrong about a lot of things, but based on 27 years of friendship with one of them, and very close relationship with the other one, that they're pretty genuine people. Like then you start going like, okay, who's funding a lot of stuff? Is there a hidden hand involved with that? Again, going back to, and I'm not asking you to say yes or no on any of this. It's just,
the answer is no. I mean, I don't have anything to hide. There is no hidden hand.
Yeah. Well, meaning not for you, but I'm not trying to go into a place that gets anybody in trouble, but it's like, it's just weird to me that you seem to be very calling out Zionism, which I've seen them do that. I just feel like they would love that. And it's very weird to me that, one thing, even with the Charlie Kirk thing, you're kind of saying it's not a trans furry, there's something else going on. And I don't want to cause a big problem with this, but it's just shocking to me. That's the point I'm trying to get to.
Well, the thing about, the Charlie Kirk thing is very weird, just because I've heard from a different podcaster that's, has a decent size audience that said that he got some calls, and he's heard of other podcaster getting calls from people, we don't know who these people are, not disclose, saying that, hey, maybe, don't talk about this issue that much. Don't go into this that deeply. That's stuff I've heard. Very, very bizarre, but it's out there. People are saying this.
It is very, very interesting. It is.
Right? It's like, what do they not want us to find out? Like, what's the harm? If the case of the FBI is so airtight as they say, what's the harm in other people kind of poking around? Why are they stopping investigations from happening? Either, citizen journalism investigations or the deputy counterintelligence, Joe Kent, from looking to see if there are foreign agents involved in the assassination. If you're very confident that it was Tyler Robinson, you wouldn't mind just to close off that circle, just to make sure it didn't happen.
Yeah, it's definitely an enigma. It's a very weird puzzle to try to solve for sure, and it's very deep. So James, you do excellent work. Obviously, you were cited on Rogan, which I was super happy to see. They made fun of your hat. Shane Gillis.
I'm all day, man. That has going to be with me for life. That was a decision that I made at one point. I was going to do the hat, just so people could recognize who I was right away. And I think that's going to always remain, and I'm good with that. And the whole point too. I don't know if I talked to you about this.
You be you, dude.
Yeah, the whole point of that is like, I don't necessarily want to seem authoritative, even because I want people to have doubt about what I'm saying so they can look it up for themselves. I don't want to dress in like a suit and tie and pretend I'm super authoritative to get people to believe in me through kind of more of a visual cue. I want people to really look at the information and judge that.
Yeah, and that's why I think it should be. Like, I would like to have as much data as possible so I can make my own decisions. And it just seems like there's just a bunch of people that just want to be told what to think, and it's because their lives are so busy, they don't have time. Like they used to really like when they would go home, watch 1 hour news, and feel like they were educated on what's going on. And then over time, we realized that was all propaganda. That so many of those guys that we grew up with reading the news to us, that were our trusted name in news, were Mockingbird assets. Molding the way we see the world, energy, and all that stuff. And you would think that people would be like, okay, I just want to hear the truth. Like, it just seems like I want to find a lighthouse in the sea of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want something that can show me the truth. But I think people in a weird way love the status quo. They're comfortable with it.
Or I mean, I think the truth. Sometimes the truth is really uncomfortable to hear. They rather, not believe it, right? If it's going to shatter their worldview, or if it's going to make them really think about all their preconceived notions of some topic, I could see why people would reject the truth in search of comfort. I could see that as from a human perspective. I could definitely see that.
So you put out, I have another show called Doom Scroll, and we play your videos all the time. It's, it's the best videos from the last week. That's what we like to play. And you're in it often because your videos are great and they're very concise, and, they pack a lot of information. One video you just put out is about the head of the CIA being basically connected to Mossad, and then the head of Mossad being in Dallas at that time. Can you just elaborate on that a little bit for everybody? Because it was just an excellent video.
Yeah, so this is the video. If I'm thinking of the right one, it's the one talking about James Angleton.
Yes.
And he, I believe, was the head of counterintelligence in the CIA at the time. And he was very, very close with the head of Mossad. And then this is through the work of another journalist named Wally Rashid. Want to give him a shout out too, because I think this is important, that the stuff that we do a lot of times is like built on other people taking one bit of information here and there. So what he did, he actually looked up, he did a FOIA request, and he found a document based, back up 1 second. There was a book that came out about the head of Mossad. The name is slipping my mind right now. It might have been Mir Amit, if I'm correct. Oh no, sorry. It was Yitzhak Rabin.
Yes.
He is Yitzhak Rabin, and he, I believe, at the time was in the IDF. He was like second in command at the IDF. And his wife wrote in his memoirs that that he was in Dallas mere hours before Kennedy was assassinated. And that's just public. That is in his memoirs that his wife wrote. So when he read that, that's like, oh, that's pretty crazy. So then he did a FOIA request. And within the FOIA request, it was found out that his trip to the United States should have lasted much longer. But at the last minute, he had gotten word that he should return to Israel earlier than the trip was slated for. He was supposed to visit many other sites, I think military sites in the United States, because I think they were doing some kind of military training and cooperation, this kind of thing. And so that to me really was bizarre, in that, okay, so if you're calling somebody back ahead of time, right before this assassination, he was in the city, maybe did they know about it? I mean, that's obviously the next step that you would ask. And then there was also that piece of the puzzle where a British television station got a tip, I think it was like 20 or 30 minutes beforehand, saying, hey, there's going to be big news coming out of America. Stay tuned.
Damn. Well, that reminds me almost like exactly with 9/11. Certain people getting a call not to go to work that day. The news running a story about Building 7 going down as it sits behind them. We know of a very famous comedian whose father owns a private Mossad intelligence company that his dad and his brother didn't show up that day
to watch them try to explain all that shit away too, like the way they manufacture these excuses after the fact that clearly just can't be true.
As the great Greg Carlwood says, a deviation from the norm. Yeah. So much of 9/11, any conspiracy, it's always like you have to believe this anomaly naturally happened. And that's where it gets very weird.
Yes.
And just to add, I don't know if this was in the video, Sam, just to add another piece. This is unrelated, but this is to do with the USS Liberty. One of the people that the Mossad met was James Angleton just a couple of weeks prior to Liberty getting dispatched out, because I did a whole deep dive on that last year. And so everything kind of triangulates to the CIA at the very least, maybe not like doing the nefarious things, but they were in the know is what it seemed like for sure.
I just feel like Mossad, CIA, and MI6 are all just the same organization. just with different names and different locations, just to connect with the local population. But I think they all work together. And I mean, I don't know where you are in your journey. If there's a spiritual side to it, there seems to be some kind, obviously religious stuff involved, but there seems to be a big spiritual warfare going on with a lot of this. And, so I want to get into Venezuela with you. There's a lot going on with that. It's very crazy. We talked about it. Was it on the last show we talked about it? Yeah, the last show we talked about how they went in and extract him. What are your thoughts on Venezuela? And we'll get into Argentina after that, but what's your thoughts on Venezuela?
Well, for me, I don't think this is good for the United States. I'm always a believer in non-intervention. And because I think based on what we've seen in history, anytime we intervene in a foreign country, whether it be doing a regime change or bombing them or some kind of coup or whatever it is, it's never turned out well. And especially given the rhetoric of the Trump administration as they were, campaigning for the 2024 election, they talked very explicitly about not going in and doing these kind of regime change wars. And they talked about focusing on reinvesting in America. And I just feel like this, to me, was not the right move. It kind of betrayed those campaign promises. I know some people, or a lot of people, actually, I got a lot of heat for sort of speaking out against this invasion or this kidnapping of Maduro, because they're saying, well, this is going to be good for the United States because we're going to take their oil and we're going to get rich off their oil and it's ours. And I said, well, I don't think we're going to get rich off their oil. I think, if anything, the best case scenario is that multinational corporations, these oil companies, are going to get rich off the oil. But people have to understand these corporations don't have any allegiance to the United States. They don't work on behalf of the American people. They work on behalf of their shareholders, which are from all over the world. So their whole thing is prioritizing profit over people. They're not going to it's not like, oh, we're going to take their oil, we're going to nationalize it on behalf of the U.S. and then the citizens are going to get their cut of it and we're going to get rich off of it and improve the lives of the Americans here. No, that's not what happened. And that's ultimately I was doing, I didn't know a lot about Venezuela, to be honest with you, going into this, but this is just based on my research. People can disagree with it if they like to. But people kind of say, well, Venezuela, there was, the regimes there, the Maduro regime was causing all kinds of economic havoc. That's why people had to leave Venezuela. But we were sort of the cause of that. If we look back,
catalyst, for sure.
Because if you looked into it, right? Because Hugo Chavez came to power. He won. These are all democratic elections, by the way, up until the very last one, from my understanding. And so when Chavez was elected in '98, he nationalized the Venezuelan oil. Then he used a lot of those profits into various programs that raised the literacy rate and improved, the poverty numbers and things like that. And I don't think we liked it from an American perspective. So I think it was during the Obama administration where we essentially deemed Venezuela an enemy of the United States, and then we started imposing sanctions on them. And then the Trump administration followed up with even heavier sanctions. So then we say, oh, they're selling their oil to China, they're selling their oil to Russia. Well, they were forced to do that because you guys imposed these sanctions on them to cripple their economy. So they had to do that. So a lot of the problems that are there from an economic perspective, we kind of caused because we didn't like the fact that they wanted to, keep their oil for themselves. And I just think that, because I try to listen to all different people's point of view, and it's like, hey, this is just how things are in the world. Like, if you're more powerful, then you take over a country and you go steal their shit. This has been going on for thousands of years. Why do anything different? And, I guess my response or my take on that would be, well, I don't think we're nearly as powerful as we think we are. And I think it's just a much better route if we were to do it in a diplomatic way. I think Maduro had said, yeah, we'll sell you our oil, And so I would just say that would probably be the better option for me. But this is, as a non-expert looking at it, this is what I think about it.
Well, and the arguments you put forward are the arguments I hear, like, oh, it's good for the country. But when did that ever when has that ever been an excuse for violating another country's sovereignty? And not with no declaration of war. I mean, it's just another illegal incursion. Greenland, I think he's serious about Greenland, dude.
Well, he's definitely serious about Greenland. Yeah,
and the people defending it are like, well, I mean, do we want the Russians or the Chinese in our backyard in Greenland?
It's unbelievable.
Like, are we really talking about invading a peaceful country that has done nothing to us and just occupying it? You'd have to occupy it. I mean, I can't believe that's even on the table for so many of the people that bought what the president sold us in the campaign. He campaigned completely opposed to all that. He's like, we were just concerned about America first, and now America first means invading Greenland. Apparently,
I am shocked by the lack of memory with everybody. Anybody over 40, anybody over 30, maybe.
Anybody with a book to read, like read the news.
I mean, it's just absolutely shocking to me how they just accept these things like it's not the same thing that we've been doing the last 20 years. It's shocking to me. Like anybody thinks it's okay. And then Barry Weiss, our last guest was really great, but he's like, they're just murdering people in Iran. And I want to always be respectful to guests. Anybody comes on, I'm very thankful. This is not like an attack interview. I'm never going to do that. I let everybody shine the best they can. So I said it in a nice way, but it's like, you're going to trust Barry Weiss to tell you how many people have died in Iran? She's so obviously captured, 20,000 people dead. Like, dude, you're just believing the dead babies in the incubator story all over again? It's like shocking to me. And the real problem is that everybody I see calling for war, none of them will go fight this war. None of them. Go fight. Clay Travis, you think this is a great move? Get on a plane and go fight the fucking war. Be the first one on the front line. You think it's such an important, such an important war? Get on the front line, Mark Levine. Get on the front line. But it's never that. It's let's send the poor kids to die for the rich bankers. So it's just shocking to me how everybody is convincing themselves of that.
It is very interesting, and I don't think it's even necessary. Like, for example, what do we want out of Greenland? Whatever we want out of them, they're going to already do for us. They're already a NATO ally. So if we want to put another military base there or whatever, I'm sure they would let us. If we wanted to say, hey, we get first dibs when it comes to natural resources that are there, the rare earth minerals that are abundant, I'm sure they would let us have first crack at it as well. So I don't really understand, even if I were to take the position of yes, this is like the Monroe Doctrine or the Donroe Doctrine that some people are calling it.
Donroe Doctrine.
That people are, trying to take over and we need to put our flag everywhere. I'm like, is this really the best way to do it? Do we really want to use all these military resources for something that we could do in a diplomatic way? And, maybe divert some of those resources to rebuilding roads and bridges in America? Is that such a bad idea? I don't know.
Hey guys, I want to tell you that crypto is the Wild West, and you need somebody that can take you through the dangerous territories, show you the right path to go, and that's our good friend James McMahon and Copy My Crypto. Let me tell you about Copy My Crypto. Listen, guys, has it pissed you off to watch crypto fly up in price for over a decade and you've still done nothing about it? Yeah, it makes sense. Crypto is complicated and really boring. But here's the good news. You don't need to know a thing about crypto or to make money like so many have. The CopyMyCrypto.com membership site shows you the exact cryptos that YouTuber James McMahon personally owns, which means you just copy him. It's like having a big brother who knows what he's doing. You don't need to know a thing about crypto or how to invest. You just simply copy along. So let me tell you about James, okay? He runs Crypto with James YouTube channel, which has 100,000 followers on it, subscribers. It's unbelievable. In the summer of 2020, he told his viewers to buy 26 cryptos. Had you put in $100 in each one, it went on to be worth over $123,000. Of the 26 cryptos, his top pick of the year, the one he singled out, called Phantom, went up 692 times from when he said, okay? That one call alone retired a number of people, including guys in their 20s and 30s. Remember, this is public knowledge. You can go on YouTube and verify this yourself. So if you'd like to join the over 3,000 members who copy James, then pause what you're doing and head right over to copymycrypto.com/TFH. That's copymycrypto.com/TFH. TFH. That's TFH. You'll not only find proof of everything I've said, but our viewers get full access for just $1. Okay? Yes, you missed out on Bitcoin. That's fine. You can even get a little piece, but don't even worry about that. But there's over 2 million other cryptos. Do you really think you've missed out on all of them? Guys, don't waste any more time, okay? Go to the site and read it for yourself. Once again, that's copymycrypto.com/tinfoil hat. It's ended money worries for so many. It just may do the same for you. And we thank him for sponsoring the show. You know, one thing nobody's talking about, everybody, dog allergies, okay? It's a big problem. We got to nip it at the bud. And there's one company working on that better than everybody else, and that's Better Wild. Let me tell you about Better Wild. If you love your dogs, you got to take care of them. You got to take care of their health. And that's why there's no better place to go than betterwild.com.
I know my dog is always scratching its ears. You know, it's prone to ear infections. It gets rashes. It's eating grass and all this stuff. And Better Wild has allergy relief soft chews. It's a supplement designed to support your pet's allergy defense system by strengthening their digestion. Better Wild allergy supplement chews have a special blend of wolf probiotics called Ancestral Advantage that support long-term allergy relief by strengthening their natural defense system.
Yeah, listen, and it's important because, listen, our dogs are living better than ever. I mean, my dog lives a better life than I do, okay? But let's face it, the truth is dogs still share 99% of their DNA with wolves, and there are things about modern life that make it harder for them to stay healthy. Dog allergies are up 30% in the last decade, being exposed to all the pollen, dust, mold, human dander makes dogs' allergies worse. 90% of your dog's immune system lives in their gut, and weak gut leaves your dogs more vulnerable to allergies, and that's where Better Wild Allergy Relief Soft Chews come in, okay? And let me tell you, Better Wild Allergy Supplement Chews include, ancestral blend of wolf probiotics, all right? They got cholesterol, all right? And then they got salmon oil. Are you for real? That's what we're talking about. We're talking about Super Blend for your dogs. It's the best. So Better Wild is committed to helping your dogs with science-based, veterinarian-approved solutions that you can feel great about. So right now, Better Wild is offering our listeners up to 40% off your order at betterwild.com/tinfoil. That's betterwild.com/tinfoil for up to 40% off your order. betterwild.com/tinfoil. We thank them for sponsoring our show. I've said this before, and it just makes me think they want us dumb and unhealthy and miserable so we cannot understand what our government is doing, which is basically, and we'll get into this in a few, but the Bank of England controls our Federal Reserve, and they're using our Federal Reserve and our military as stormtroopers and our Federal Reserve to fund it all. I mean, literally everything. All of this USAID stuff is just funny money, funding and this kind of false reality that we're surrounded by. That every time we go, that doesn't make sense. That's what I'm talking about. Like literally everything. None of it is real, and they're all being bribed by this fake money that they're just pulling out of this monopoly bank and handing it to people. And it's so crazy to watch, and how people have just been emotionally captured that they think, like everyone's like, Russia's going to invade this. We're invading everybody. Like, what are you talking about? Like, it's crazy to me.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy. And I always try to think of it from multiple lenses where imagine, let's say you're a supporter of these invasions, or you want to take Greenland or Venezuela, but just think if the party that you don't like, let's say the Democrats in this case, if they started doing this, would you be down with this as well? Would you be also rah-rah USA, or would you be like, oh, no, this is just another regime change war. This is like this and that.
We saw it with
Syria. Because I think there has got to be some consistency in the policy to say either this is good or bad, no matter who does it.
Yeah, and it just seems that like the one thing everybody agrees on is war. I'm sure when it comes to war.
Well, we all got together for Syria, though, and so many of the people that were right on that now are just because it's the president,
Do you think Trump that has a lot to do with it?
It's a cult of personality.
I think
for many of
that's
them,
Trump's job is to come in as this kind of people's champion and do things that we wouldn't allow Joe Biden to do.
Yeah.
I think that's the same thing with Obama. Obama was brought in because, I mean, think about it. Like when George Bush Jr.'s last days in the administration, like people were over old white neocons, right? We were over them. We've seen what they do. They're dangerous.
Yep.
And then here comes Obama, charismatic, good-looking guy. And who do they run against him? Old white neocon, like the one guy everybody hates. And it's the same thing with Trump. When on his second election, who they run against him? Kamala Harris, right? Like, or their third election, excuse me, Kamala Harris. And like everyone was over the woke stuff. And you run the most woke person saying that we should give, illegals, sex change operations. We should be funding that. Like, you're just driving everybody to the point where you wonder if that's the purpose. You can look at certain elections and go, they got them in for the. I think that's why George Bush ended up winning Florida Jr. because they knew 9/11 was coming. Same thing, And you look at this immigration situation. It's like it looks like problem, reaction, solution. Problem. Joe Biden lets everybody in. Reaction. Immigration crime everywhere. Solution. ICE cracking skulls everywhere. Like it just seems like it's just this long game that gets played over and over again. We just keep falling for this kfab all the time.
Without any nuance too. It's like ICE, okay, maybe we do want them to get people who have committed crimes out of the country. Do we want, and then so if you support that now with a lot of people, you have to support them no matter what the fuck they do. You can support them busting heads on sidewalks and shit. And that's not what we want. We want them to, surgically go in and get like Rogan's getting destroyed now for, saying that, comparing them to Gestapo tactics, which is.
Well, with the ICE?
Yeah, with ICE.
I mean, dude, you're let me see your papers.
Yeah,
I mean.
No, totally. Yeah.
Let me see your papers, dude. Where are you from? I'm from Chicago. Are you from here? Let me see your paper. What? I mean, like, again, this is like about getting you comfortable with them black bagging people. Once you're okay with that, they do that with everything. Not to get too deep in conspiracies, but I mean, even though it's tinfoil hat, I don't want to go there right now. But it's like the whole thing is to get you okay with them doing something against people you don't like. And once you accept that, boom, they just turn around and do it to you and you're emotionally captured again. That's what all this illegals, dude, we need people like, we need ICE. We need boots on the ground in America. Bro, what are you doing?
Fuck around and find out, bro.
Yeah, it's just really crazy to me.
Well, I think it is kind of crazy. If you look at the Democratic elite, when I mean the people in government who are Democrats, they don't necessarily oppose the ICE policies either, because both parties, they want to consolidate power, they want to accumulate power, and they both want a police state, more or less, right? If you look at it, these issues in ways that, maybe you just toss the conspiracies aside and you just look at, all right, so who's going to benefit from this? Well, here's what's going on. What's happening with ICE right now is just going to make everybody turn against, even the people who maybe were for deportation. They were, they're fine with the idea of like, hey, we have a bunch of illegal immigrants here. We need to remove them from the country, but we obviously want to do it in a safe and efficient way. And that's not, basically, shooting people in the streets and doing that kind of thing. This is going to make people more sympathetic to immigrants. And I always question, well, maybe is that the idea? Is that maybe something that they want? Because if you think about Trump and all of his donors, they also are business people for the most part, and business, they like immigrants because immigrants lowers the effective
labor.
Wages. Yes, exactly. Cheap labor. So maybe they want people to turn on this idea. They want to obviously have a show for their base, right? They're doing this stuff. I'm not even sure how effective these raids are. Are they actually getting people, or are they just like, beating people up and what's going on there? And so one side, I'm like, okay, so this is probably going to drive more sympathy to immigrants, and that could probably work out well from a business perspective. On the other side, you're going to have people in the streets protesting this kind of stuff because most people, like Rogan was talking about, we don't want the Gestapo police. We don't want to have to show our papers and then, Nazi Germany style kind of thing. And so people are going to protest that. And with these protests, well, that's just going to legitimize the need for more police, more surveillance, this kind of thing. So you're going to create a police state, and you're also going to help out your business buddies. I mean, this is sort of a conspiracy that I'm talking about, but that's who's going to benefit.
One thing they did stop was anybody crossing the border.
Why nobody's coming in?
No, nobody. I mean, Border Patrol's not letting no one in. And then if you do want to come, do you want to come and participate in these ICE raids?
Yeah, get
so
raided.
you might as well stay back there.
Well,
now
it's hurt tourism.
Yeah,
people just visiting don't want to come because they don't want to get grabbed by ICE. That's crazy,
right? Because imagine, because I think for me that was when I first saw that with Renee Good, and one of the points that I was making strongly, and I got a lot of backlash. I think I lost. That was the first time I think since Charlie Kirk, because I lost followers after Charlie Kirk for saying that I don't condone violence, which was interesting, and then I lost followers here for saying that I don't condone violence. And because the whole point is like, hey, you don't really even know if these are real officers or not. People are saying, oh, that's a ridiculous statement.
But dude, I love
these guys don't have to identify themselves. They don't have badge numbers. You don't even know who they are. They're masked. So like, why would we want to accept this? If you want to go and detain somebody, you identify who you are. You say you're law enforcement. You have the process in place just in case, right? Let's say you are somebody who's just caught up in the melee. Now they're just snatching people, and you're going to throw in a detention center somewhere, and you don't have any due process, and now you're in jail for months without a lawyer.
Let's say that does happen.
The kind of stuff that
let's say that happens. You're walking down LA, you get caught up. Can you sue if you're in a detention center? Because they're not nice. I'm sure they're not feeding you well. I'm sure you're not getting taken care of.
Good fucking luck.
That's what I'm saying. I think you got taken out.
I think there's a new law in California that says like if you've been injured or hurt by ICE, you can sue. Like if you are unlawfully detained.
Yeah, I mean
but that's like months later. I mean, like that's the best case scenario. If you have the funds, if you have the resources to pursue that kind of lawsuit, I'm sure it's not cheap to get into the justice system and seek the legal recourse. Those things are quite expensive.
Yeah, and you look into like domestic terrorism. I mean, like both these parties are pushing that. I mean, you got the governor, the Michigan governor kidnapping, which was a giant intelligence agency psyop, and then that guy who ran that, which is interesting, right? Goes over and starts running January 6th. Like they love to fail up. It's unbelievable. But now you got Pam Bondi going, we're making a list of people. A naughty list. Right?
That list was already created.
Well, that list has our name on it for sure. My FEMA camp number is going to be in single digits. Number 9, Sam Tripoli. But that's what it's for. It's really this attempt to get rid of the Constitution, in my humble opinion. That gets in their way of doing everything they want to do, complete and utter lockdown and control. But it's all been done on purpose. It's like they're just working together. Again, these judges and these democratic leaders, and like this idea that like we can reduce law by not enforcing the law, and they're like, crime's down. Well, yeah, because you're not arresting people anymore. That's why. It's not like they're actually committing more crime because they know you're not going to arrest them. And it seems Bolshevik to me, to be honest with you. You can't attack America, so you have to weaken it from the inside, and that seems to be what's happening. It's crazy to me.
Yeah, it seems like everybody in power is just kind of, strip mining the place, ransacking the country, right? It's a beautiful country. It's got a lot of good things going for it still. And it seems like people are just stealing for themselves. They kind of know in the end, it's like, oh yeah, it's going to collapse. So I'm going to get my bag before it completely goes to shit. That seems to be kind of the vibe that I'm getting.
Last chopper out of Saigon kind of deal, just like let's get it while we're getting good.
Yeah, but the question is all of these things. You collect all this money, and then the money's not worth anything. So what do you got?
Well, I mean, we're just going to talk about you're gonna. Trump is already openly talking about what was conspiracy just a few months ago, just converting it all to on chain and paying it off with crypto, which is like, then what do you? If you were,
that's exactly what Russia said they were going to do.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Like we played that clip on BS of what was it, Putin or was it
No,
one
it
of
was the other, one of his financial.
Yeah, it was like
ministers.
they're getting ready to put it all on chain and just stick everybody.
By the way, I'm not cool with it being moved to crypto, but fuck the Federal Reserve.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
I mean, like, why? This is fake money. You're telling us we owe you fake money. Like, how about we say go fuck yourself?
But then what coin though?
Well, it would be like a stable coin, I guess. Well, not even because it's not pegged really. I don't know. It would be
Because it can't be tethered.
It's gonna be Trump coin. That'd be so
God,
hilarious.
can you imagine?
It can't be tethered because isn't that base backed with the U.S. dollar? You can't have that one of those.
Well, it would just be something, I guess, a new replacement. But the real question is like, what is the technology underpinning it? You know, is it like what blockchain? And yeah, I mean, it's fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they're just creating a new piggy bank, basically, a new cash register to pay off this other one that's fucked up.
Start the process over again.
It is. It just seems like PSYOP season takes no days off. Like, you got to wake up in the morning going, oh, what happened? What happened?
Yeah, dude,
With numbers, I mean, like the psyops with the Venezuelans, and the people are like, oh, cheering or not. It's like, oh, what did the Venezuelan think? I'm like, well, this Venezuelan speaking English, so I'm not really sure if I could trust this one. And there's like videos, coming from Venezuela on the other side. I'm like, I think these are old videos. I don't really know what's going on. Like Alex Jones is putting out like World Cup videos. I'm like, what is happening here, guys? And also, by the way, I don't even think that's like a good barometer to how to make decisions or to justify some kind of action. Because if Trump got kidnapped, there's going to be people who are happy about it. And you just put those people online and you say, oh, that's good. That's not a good justification to go kidnap a leader. It doesn't matter if I can find, a Miami Venezuelan refugee who likes this. That's not how I'm going to base my foreign policy decisions.
Right. No. It's illegal.
Well, it seems like none of their tricks are working anymore, which is both great and scary at the same time. Because there seem to be like, oh, if they could lull us into this, that's fine. But now they can't. And
that's why they got to buy the platforms. That's why they got to buy the algorithm, right? Larry Ellison with TikTok, and that's how
Larry Ellison with everything.
With Paramount, and now they're going after Warner Brothers, right? They need to control everything. That's like the only play they have left. If you can't, influence, then you have to really just control, right? What was that? What's that one quote? Was it an Orwell quote or somebody had a quote? It's like, tyrannies rule through fraud and force, but if the fraud gets exposed, the only thing left to do is force, something like that.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I was thinking. 100%. And now you have all this fraud coming out. And it just seems like so beyond any understanding. Like, it is so bad. Like, I didn't even know there was that much money. Literally that much money. Like, I mean, we're talking like hundreds of billions of dollars just being sucked out of the system into, again, astroturf this false reality everywhere.
John, did you see John Rockers out there now knocking doors?
People love knocking on daycare doors. People love it now. It's like a fun thing to do. It's the latest trend. But it's shocking. It's shocking.
Well, that is I mean, like, I looked into that too, because at first I'm like, I'm a guy who has been investigating nonprofit fraud and things like that. So when I first saw the Nick Shirley piece, I was like, oh, fuck yeah, this is great. And then I look into it a little bit more. I'm like, well, this seems really sort of inorganic, the amount of reach that has, with JD Vance tweeting it out and Elon Musk and everybody out, out there. I'm like, oh, this has to do with the Somalis. They're exposing this because it's the Somalis. If it's, rich elites doing this, no problem. But if it's the Somalis, we got to go after them. And then just so happens that Netanyahu, just declared Somaliland an independent state. They're going to put Palestinians there. They're going to put military base there. All kinds of geopolitical implications of demonizing Somalia. Because I've been trying to get people to pay attention to the fraud here in California, but the people who are perpetrating this fraud are not immigrants. They are very well-connected California elites and politicians, and nobody wants to touch this story, right? I recently just did one about the veteran homeless fraud in Brentwood. Nobody wants to touch that story because it implicates very, very powerful people in a land grab.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you were just I saw that video where you're like, this is meant for VA houses for the homeless veterans, and it's like a rocket ship like companies there and a bunch of other things that they're charging.
Oh, wow.
Like, was that the video you put out where you showed all the okay?
Exactly. So this is a deed that was. From 1887. So essentially, after the Civil War, they were trying to figure out ways how to take care of these disabled veterans. And so these philanthropists, they essentially deeded, I think it was around 1,000 acres of land in what is now the Brentwood and West LA area to say this land must be used permanently to house disabled veterans. And what's happened over the years is that now that land has been essentially given out, and leases that are illegal written and given to like UCLA with their baseball field that's there. There's the Brentwood School. They have a huge athletic facility that's there. And there was a lawsuit that was maybe about 10 years ago. I think it was called Valentini versus Shinseki. And they deemed all of these leases illegal. And the judge was like, yeah, you got to vacate this. This needs to go to the veteran homeless or to house veterans. And then what they did is then the corrupt politicians of California, Ted Lieu, this one specifically, and Karen Bass, who was also in Congress at the time, they passed something called the West LA Leasing Act of 2016. And what that did was basically legalize all of these leases. Of course, they in the act itself, they're like, oh no, we're going to help the homeless and the veterans and this and that. But essentially, it legalized the leases for the University of California, and then it put in stipulation to say, well, if part of this land sort of benefits the homeless, then benefits the veterans, then it's okay, essentially. So like UCLA is like, oh yeah, veterans can come in, you get a free hot dog or whatever, and there's like parking lots there. It's like, oh, just there's discounted parking for veterans, or like Brentwood School says, oh, maybe veterans can come use the facilities off hours. And so this is how they've been getting away with it, but it's because of the fraud that's involved, because they lobbied for this bill. If you look at who lobbied for that bill, it's $1 million from the Brentwood School. It's University of California Regents lobbying for this bill because they knew that bill was going to legalize this fraud. And now here where we're sitting is like there's an oil drilling operation. There's like 20th Century Fox is there. There's all kinds of different uses of that land that has nothing to do with housing veterans. And nobody wants to touch this story because, and I'm doing a follow-up too, because there's way more people that are involved. They literally like remove veterans from the houses to say like, oh, this land is now like not usable. And then they put in and say, oh, well, we want to house veterans. So then they build new housing for these developers to make a shitload of money. And now they're charging rent to the veterans, but they evicted the veterans in the first place in order to even take that land. So there's all kinds of crazy shit going on there. It's one story that I think should, it's even more explosive, even more money than the daycare. The daycare, they're talking about, 10 billion, whatever it is, a couple $100 million, I think, with the Somalis. But now we're talking about like billions upon billions of like land fraud that's happening. But in order to actually solve this problem, you're basically going to have to take down some of the most powerful people in California.
Hey guys, real quick, I want to tell you about our good friends at Prize Picks. Listen, the big game is almost here, and there's no better way to cash in during America's biggest sporting event than Prize Picks, where it's always feels good to be right. And since the big game is right around the corner, that also means it's your last chance to get on football action before next season. So close the season out right with Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in your lineup when you play your first $5. Okay, Johnny, how easy was it when you used Prize Pick?
Oh, dude, getting signed up it's super simple, super easy. It's available here in California. I downloaded the app. I've been playing it ever since. Very successfully, I might add.
Johnny's good at this.
It also adds to, and this is the
Johnny,
thing,
would you say Nerd Dorks crush?
That's all statistics, of course.
Come on, bro. Yeah, and I'm not even that good at math. But it's the thing that I didn't anticipate, and I kind of forgotten about this kind of thing that I miss, was it makes a neutral game so much more fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When you have a little action, you can get it going, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, especially because all my teams are out of the running for almost, except North Carolina basketball.
Yeah,
I got nothing.
Carolina football's out next season too. Already, they're already out.
Find your community on Prize Picks. With the new social feeds feature, you can share Prize Picks with your friends and copy lineups from winners with a single click. You copy lineups, you like or use them as an inspiration for your own picks. You can even follow Prize Pick partners like us and tail or fade our picks with just one click. And if you're missing your fantasy team like I desperately am with Prize Picks, you don't have to wait until next year's draft to keep playing fantasy. Prize Picks lets you play fantasy football every week, even in the playoffs. Pick your favorite players and win when they hit their projections every week. No draft required. Join millions of users and sign up for America's #1 sports picks app.
So here's what we need you to do. Download the Prize Picks app today and use the code TFH to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code TFH to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. And we thank them for sponsoring the show. You know, like, I'm an old man, dude. I'm 53 years old. I have zero faith in Republicans. You know, I've been watching Reagan and Bush Jr. and Trump now to a point, you know, well, not to a point, Trump. So I have no faith in them, but the level of corruption with the Democrats is staggering. And what's really like, and again, Republicans are really bad too. We can get into all the stuff you want, because people like, there are things that Republicans do that I like, but I wonder if that's just show. But you get into, it's like, it is shocking the level of corruption in California. And the people that constantly keep voting for these same people, because the fear of hate is so powerful that they'll vote against their own best interest, which is called suicidal empathy, right? And you just see them like they'll get mugged pumping gas, $7 gas, and still keep voting for the same people that allow this place to go to shit. Like, you live in San Diego. How long you been there?
I've been here, 20 plus years.
So you've been there during some golden times, dude. I've been in LA.
I grew up in San Diego, moved away for 10 years, then I moved back a few years ago.
Yeah, I've lived in LA since 98, 99. Like, I've experienced this wonderful town that is just in trouble right now. And it's shocking to me that no matter what, like, the emotional capture of Orange Guy bad, and I'm not saying he's not bad, but it's not to the point that I would go and keep voting for the same people that is allowing crime, that basically allowed Los Angeles to burn in the same way Argentina
Not
burned.
basically. They did. I don't know if you've been paying attention to Spencer Pratt. He's been all over it.
No, I'm with you, dude. I'm with you, dude. And it is shocking that she feels comfortable enough to run again. Like, she's like, let's just run it back. Let's just. And it's just shocking to me. Maybe our only hope is a guy that was on the E! channel that can get to these middle-aged white progressives that were, when they were in their 20s and 30s, watched him on TV, might feel some kind of emotional connection to him, that he's one of them. Because you put an R by your name, you're just done. You become Charlie Brown's mom, and they don't want to listen to anything you have to say. And they'll just keep voting for if you cannot explain in a logical way how Karen Bass handled the fires. And that got Bill Burr in big trouble, and I love Bill Burr, but he goes on Jimmy Kimmel. He's like, I like how Los Angeles is handling it, which came off so tone deaf. And it might be, and his whole thing is he doesn't go on the internet. Well, that caught you right there, because there's so much data that says they did everything in their power, including telling firefighters not to fight the fires and arresting people that tried to fight the fires and arresting people who tried to do something. How can you sit there and be okay with Karen Bass? How can you be okay with that? It's
and there's nobody to challenge. There's all these. I think there are a lot of, well, for the elites, there's a couple different sets of people. I think that's like ruling the or running the game in Los Angeles. You got the Hollywood elites. They're completely tied into that world, and they have a lot of shared interests, I would have to say. And then there's coming from that elite, there's this like societal pressure that you're talking about, the social pressure to say, well, if you don't vote for these people, then you become bigots, you know?
Yeah.
And that's kind of sort of put a gridlock on this whole thing. So essentially then we have had a one party rule for I don't know how long now. And when you have one party rule, you get corruption because there's no way to have accountability. If you continue to win elections, but still, rob the people, then why not? Right? It's like I can get away with whatever I want, you're saying, and I could still win the election. Okay. Then that's exactly what's transpired, essentially.
It's like I had a friend of mine come on one of my other podcasts where we kind of debate, and I was a conspiracy theorist. The other person is a progressive, right? And we have these debates on there. And Brian Callen couldn't be on that day, so I brought a buddy of mine on. And we had to discuss, and this was like kind of after January 6th. And, January 6th was like the progressive 9/11. They were just, it's like the worst day in history. I had some of the I would say some of the most intelligent people I know reading books on January 6th. And I was just like, what are you doing here, dude? I mean, like, it's so obvious it's not what they're telling you. But, these are the people that believe the system is the system is completely and utterly corrupt and racist. Yet when supposedly these people stormed the Capitol where the system was installed, now democracy is in trouble. It's this weird thing where, like, if you burn down your own neighborhood, you're fighting the power. But if you march on the Capitol where the power is, now suddenly you're a threat to democracy.
Yeah, if the pig hat chicks had been busting into the Capitol, dude, they'd been right there with them.
Yeah, sure. It's just a weird mental gymnastics that really, really shocks me. And it goes into California where it's like so much of these progressives are like anti establishment in a weird way, kind of going back to the hippie movement, right? But yet they're the ones who constantly want more government. They want a board for everything. And they just want more and more government employees, which just leads to fascism, in my humble opinion. In California, the number one employer is the government. Who's going to vote against the government if everyone's employed by the government? More laws, more rules, more stuff like that. Yet at the same time, they're constantly telling us that these people who are leaders are corrupt and bigots. It's just weird. And the reason I bring that up is because San Diego now has a department where the city goes around to your trash and make sure that your trash is properly stowed, meaning that, recyclables here, trash here, but it doesn't go above the lid so the lid can close. That's just more bureaucracy. Now you just want the TSA everywhere. You hate it at the airport. Now you want it to govern your trash. And it's crazy to me because for the longest time there was kind of, and maybe I'm wrong, James, you correct me if I'm wrong, there seemed to be like a red flavor to San Diego. It's heavy military. It's heavy there. Which you bring in the military, you bring in a lot of God. There's a lot of people go to church who are in the military, stuff like that. And now that seems to be changing. Am I wrong on that?
Well, so there's a lot of things I want to say about San Diego. I haven't made too much content about it, to be honest. And I might this year because I'm quite upset about it. I know it's like local issues, so I don't necessarily, if people are interested in hearing about it, I'm glad to dig into San Diego corruption. But in terms of the trash, this is I know other cities are going to find this incredible, but like we didn't have to pay for trash pickup up until this year. In the past, the trash pickup fees were a part of the city taxes that you paid, but they wanted to raise revenue. They budget shortfalls or whatever from Todd Gloria. They found all kinds of different ways to now increase revenue. But then if you look at the data, San Diego has collected more tax revenue in the past year in 2020, I believe it was 24 or 25, I can't remember the data set, than any year in the past. So they've had they've had the most amount of revenue they've ever collected, yet we're in a budget shortfall. So this means that there's absolutely some kind of corruption or fraud happening within the city.
Unbelievable.
The administrative bloat is insane in San Diego. A little bit of what you're talking about, right? With just jobs that are not necessary, and they're running up all of these tallies of like, no, now we need this and that. Now they've just installed parking in Balboa Park, which is a very, big, city park that we have here, and it was once again deeded to the people of San Diego to be able to use as a free recreational space. Now they've started charging for parking, and people are like through the roof upset about this situation because it's all about ways and how you can get more money into the government, but not spend it in appropriate ways. And there's no accountability to what's going on. You walk downtown, homeless people everywhere, there's something deeply, deeply fraudulent about what's going on, allegedly, but yet there's no movement to say, well, we need to audit these people, or the election time comes, they still pick the same guy. And so I'm starting to think, do I need to go step in here and start like exposing some of the shit that's going on in San Diego? Because I think it's like kind of a mini Los Angeles, if you can think about it that way, of the way they run the city. It's like one of the greatest cities in the world. I call it White Miami. It's like it's the best. The city. I mean, there's a lot of Mexicans here. I mean, there's diversity. I don't think
for sure it's a joke, but it's like Miami's heavy Latin America, and then
I think Miami has like more of the Cuban flair. We have more of like that Mexican, Mexicana.
Well, it's kind of crazy that there's this just made up borderline, and on one side all Mexicans, and over here it's kind of some Mexicans. That is a weird thing to me, but it just leads to this whole thing that, like, I don't know, man. Maybe it's like when you have generations of successful people. The later generations are so comfortable, they start fighting windmills and looking for problems that they have to solve, and in things that like aren't maybe real, like climate change or like hate and bigotry.
Well, the climate change stuff is definitely sort of I think there's some nefarious intentions with that kind of thing to create, first of all, more ways to make money. Now because of climate change, they've introduced, carbon credits or whatever. Now they're tokenizing forests that already existed. Now say, well, now you can buy, carbon that's produced from these trees to offset the other carbon emissions that you have. And I'm like, well, these forests were already they were here already. So you're basically not doing anything here. So I think it creates all these things, and then people feel like they're doing the right thing. Now they're arguing about this issue versus like, I don't know, for me, more like bread and butter economic issues that people can agree on, right? They're trying to find all of these issues to create more wedge issues, right? The more of these issues that you can create, the better chance that you have of kind of stoking division in the population, and a divided population is a weaker population, and then you could rule over a weaker population. I think that's kind of what's happening right now with ICE, right? You're creating a thing where people based on their ideology can like see two different things, right? You watch the same video, half the people are like, wow, this is just cold-blooded murder. The other side is, saying that this is law enforcement doing the exact thing that they're supposed to do. And I'm like, wow, they found one. So now everybody in power is like full court press on this. Like, this is the issue. This is how we're going to continue to divide people. Versus like, actually, let's try to solve this problem. For me, if I was a leader, if I was in power, I would say, well, let's try to solve this. Like, can we do something where, maybe we keep in mind the immigration situation, right? We want to enforce the border, but we also don't want a situation where you have police that's unaccountable and you don't know who they are. Right? We have to find ways to solve the problem. But instead now it's just like demonization of people, like, oh, if you support ICE, you're a bad person. I don't want to associate with you, vice versa, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's a operation needs a scalpel, but they're using a sledgehammer, and that's done on purpose to get I guarantee you there is a ton of stories that fit this, and they're just waiting for the perfect story. And and that is this woman with her lesbian lover fighting the man on behalf of illegals, and you just have everything you want right there. And, and now we also live in a world where lying is okay. And I got caught retweeting shit that wasn't real, like her police record. Like they had this long list of her police record, and someone told me it's not real. Well, they didn't say it nicely. They told me I'm a fucking retard for retweeting it, and I would agree with you.
That thing that she doesn't have custody of her kids.
Well,
and then
I think that.
like a whole list
yeah. I mean, she's going to get her. She has 3 kids. I don't know if she's going to get the 1 kid she has, but supposedly she's going to get her kids. But if you're going to get your kids, why are you stopping at an ICE rally to confront agents on the way to pick up your children? Well,
I'm not convinced that she was on her way to pick up her kids. I think she was there to disrupt the ICE raid from the videos that I've seen.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But it seemed like she was there, honking the horn. She was doing her thing, which is not illegal, right? You have a right to protest in this country, right? As long as you do it peacefully. So I think that's what I'm saying. I think both sides is like contributing to the problem here. Of like, you don't even know what the hell's going on. Like, we can't even agree on a set of facts here.
Yeah, and it's just very weird to me because like we ebb and flow between conservative and was now the progressives. I consider liberals old school common sense people, like live and let live, and just like anything that's common sense. And then you have this kind of extreme wing that's taken over, which is progressivism, which is the extreme side of the left, which is worried about trans rights and women's rights and all that stuff beyond common sense, right? Beyond, not like women should have rights. We all agree on that. Women should be treated and respected. Johnny's maybe not agreeing with that, but that's my position. And then we get into the weirdness and the deeper stuff and the stuff that really did like trans and women's sports. Women should have the right to compete and have a chance to win against biological women. Oh, we've inserted these, and now that becomes an issue. That's the side that is like far out on the left that's completely captured the left. The progressives have captured.
Well, it's the culture war, man. This is exactly what you're talking about. Is they're trying to create more culture war issues, right? It starts with one thing, and it starts with maybe like issues that people agree with, and like people are coming together on that one. Let's go find another thing to divide people. I think it's just like a constant effort of them to try to keep everything off of like any kind of economic issue where we can all agree on, hey man, I think we're being freaking robbed blind here. Let's say whether through the Federal Reserve or other policies, foreign aid, this kind of thing. Israel, like, why do they have healthcare? Why do they have free education? Like, where are we paying for? Like, what's happening here? Those kinds of issues that can bring people together to say, well, maybe we should also have the same thing, because I can't think of a better way to create more prosperity in a country where somebody's going to get well educated and somebody's going to have their health needs taken care of. So now their vitality is maximized. So they're going to go out there and, create businesses and work really hard without worrying about, oh man, if I like injure myself, I can't call an ambulance because it'll bankrupt me. So I feel like that's just not good for like, the economic growth of a country. If we were to go down, to try to just think of things in more like cynical ways of just like incentivizing things, I'm like, wouldn't that be the best thing for this country? I don't know.
No, 100%. And what you're talking about is logic, and nobody's using that. They're bringing emotions to everything. And it tends to be the people who are financially stable and have been born into that, where they really never had a problem. So they have to find purpose in their life.
Right. And also have you guys talked about like the protests, right? Some of the protest stuff I think is inorganic.
I think it's all inorganic.
Right. And if you say, okay, well, if it's billionaires funding these protests, the thing I think about is, well, billionaires, they can buy politicians. They could buy policy if they wanted to. So why are they funding protests? The only reason why you funded protests is to divide people. Why are you doing it like this? This seems
Do you guys think you think it's going to go to trial? Or you think he'll do a plea bar, like the cop that shot the lady? You think goes to what was it?
Well,
David
one thing
Chauvin?
I will tell you is like this did not hit the way they wanted to. They're trying.
No, it's not
They're
as big
trying.
as George Floyd.
No, it's not even close.
It looked like it was. I was
They
like,
wanted it.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I mean, almost to the T, it's the same story.
It's perfectly designed though to piss everybody off.
Yes,
no matter your
or
perspective.
to enrage everybody. You know, he almost got ran over, and Tim Walz passed a bill that said they don't even need the actual threat of death to fire. Like he passed the bill. Again,
and
we don't know if that's real or not, right?
And
so someone puts that out on the internet. So that could just be them.
There's
trying
no
to crazy
penalty now for just totally making shit up and passing it off as news.
I think I've said this before on the show. The societies need 4 pillars. They have to be enforced at all times. You don't commit violence. You don't steal. We protect children at all cost, and we shun lying. Now we can get into the lying thing. I think both sides do it to no end.
X has got to get better at that, though, dude. It's just
Unless
people
it's
who are
purpose.
just getting their engagement from. I mean, if Elon, if they care about doing,
you think
good,
they care?
Probably not. But I mean, that's because I'm generally in favor of the changes there. But like, dude, they have to. These so-called parody accounts where they bury it in their profile and then it's just all day them getting,
How would you
heat
punish?
from
How would you punish someone?
You ban
from-
them.
You ban them.
kick them off. Yeah, of course.
So you can have no parody.
If your whole fucking
Parody.
feed, is just, it's not even because parody is implied in that, like some comedy.
No, I agree,
And some of
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just straight fake. I mean, it's like news, straight
Lying.
reported as news, but it's not true.
Yeah.
And
That's a
okay,
lot.
let's say like you're
Engagement farming.
let's say like you're at NBC or something and you play some fake AI, but you didn't know it was fake AI. How do you get punished? Is there a fine for that, or do
Well,
you just
I would
forget
tell
about
you-
No,
it?
I don't.
Based
You don't
on-
fine people. No, I mean, I that would be a government thing, a fine.
I
but,
would
like,
tell you, based on my limited experience in television, that every moment, every second, every millisecond on television is gone over with a fine-tooth comb. They know exactly what they're putting out.
Yeah.
Everything has been researched. If it's out, it's done on purpose.
Yeah.
That's my humble opinion. Everything's a means to an end, But you bring up Israel. I just did this word war debate, and Gavin McInnes, who I love with all my heart, very interesting guy, super funny if you understand his comedy, which I love. Extremely Zionist, and I brought up points, and he just doesn't care. It just doesn't matter to him. James's video on the CIA director meeting with Israel before the USS Liberty attack. Why doesn't that affect people? Why aren't they like, what the fuck is going on? And just, it seems like there's a play right now, and like I have my own theories that Israel's middle management to the Church of the British Empire, and you study that seems to be like Scottish, Freemason, British people are at the center of almost everything Israel. And you study, I don't know if you've seen this, but the Greater Israel map and the map of ancient Babylon are almost the exact same thing. Almost exactly. It's super interesting. And
Wow. I have not gone down that route. I feel like you are sort of 10 steps ahead of me, Sam, in terms of this kind of research.
yeah, and that's fine. That's totally fine, because I was where you were at the beginning of the show. I mean, you're much better researcher than I am. I don't do any. I let people come on with the research, but you get into what's going on in Argentina, and it's like this is not the first time Israelis have been blamed for setting fire to that area. It's happened multiple times over decades, dude. Over decades. And now we hear the IDF is running there after they're done in Gaza to hide from war crimes. Whoa, where have we heard that before? Who's run to Argentina to hide from I'm sorry, it sounds crazy and it is super funny, but it's kind of dark too. And then what's Argentina right next to Antarctica? And that might be too far for James.
I don't know the implications of Antarctica. Maybe enlighten us.
You should look up Project High Jump at some point and start to look at but then you're going deep into conspiracies, but or as I call like unknown facts, right? So
that's a good one, man.
But it kind of lines up, man. It's really crazy to me. And, you could say whatever you want, whether it's the Ukraine, whether it is the Greater Israel Project, whether it's America, and whether it's Argentina, and you can even throw Venezuela in there. There seems to be a common theme going on with a lot of that. And the question becomes, and this isn't just on Zionism, but most things, how can you ever fix a problem if either side, not even just the left, but the left and the right, is just bunkered in on that position? And they'd rather be right than do right. And do right is to hear other data that might help you have a better understanding of what's going on.
Well, I mean, you're assuming that people want to pursue the truth.
Yeah.
Right? There's other people, they want to pursue a certain outcome, right? So they're going to dismiss things that don't contribute to, getting closer to the outcome that they want. Right. So that's something that I would think about. Right. If your whole thing is like, I want, if you're an ardent Zionist and your whole thing is about supporting Israel, of course, I'm going to reject any kind of notion, any kind of facts that would lead me or lead people to not support Israel. Right. Even if it's 100% true, we're not going to talk about it. We're going to bury it as much as we can.
Yeah. And it just makes me sad because I would rather figure out what is actually right and have a better understanding of it. And again, things that I thought at the beginning of when the show started and what I know now are almost 180. And it's because I've been open-minded and allowed people to come on here and talk freely without me attacking. I even stopped doing research before the show. I know it sounds crazy, but I found myself leading the guests to my conclusions instead of hearing their conclusions. And so I just want to hear what they have to say. And then from that, I can take whatever, I can Bruce Lee it and, take the best of this and the best of that and try to put together and have an understanding of what's going on. But you're totally right. Not everybody wants that. People,
that's called free thinking, which is, kind of rare nowadays, I believe.
Yeah.
But even if you were to think about things, from the other perspective, like, once again, cynically, like if I'm a person who wants Israel to exist and wants it to be prosperous, what's the best way of doing it? Is it censoring? Is it blowing up other countries? Is it like, demonizing everybody who doesn't like you? Or is it finding some way to get people on your side, not through this kind of coercive behavior and deceit and covert operations, but to be more transparent? Is that maybe a better option? That's what I would think about is like, if I'm trying to, let's say I'm trying to stop anti-Semitism or reduce anti-Semitism, is the best way to do that to like ban people, who, if you're saying, oh, certain people control the media, is it to ban those people, kind of like confirming that you guys kind of control the media? Or is it to engage with people and try to win them over through like conversation and discussion?
Yeah, no, I think you're totally right. I'm open-minded to, I would do more debates. I love debate. I'm not good at debating, especially after I watched this debate over Saturday. I realized how much work you have to put into debating.
Well, great event, by the way. I saw some of the clips from Anna Kasparian and Pearl Davis. That really went viral.
Yeah, it's gotten super viral, which is a blessing to be a part of it, and be able to be someone who helped. I came up with the idea, and the Enlightened Network was able to make it happen. So that's a real blessing, But it was very interesting to sit there and have a conversation with two people from two different sides. And I love them both. They're both incredibly smart. Couldn't be more 180 from each other. And that's why I think the panel worked. Some people got mad at things that Gavin McGinnis said because, again, he's blunt force.
It's the whole reason he's there is to piss people off good. Yeah.
Simon Cowell that shit. Simon Cowell that shit.
It worked.
But that's what works in debates. I don't know, but the stuff that percolates to the top of the internet is them saying the most outlandish stuff. Again, people in their 40s and 50s still think we're under television kind of rules. And it's like, no, the internet wants it as real as humanly possible. But just to have a conversation with them, whether it's like the disastrous, I think we all believe women should be empowered and showed love and given every opportunity. But there's also the dark side of that. And then the same thing with Zionism. If you said, I think Jews should have a homeland, fine. at a basic level, fine. That's what you want. I'm okay with that. But it's when we go deeper into things that are happening, that's when we start to get into problems. And that's where we start, we're bombing 5 different countries over there. And then these fires are kind of crazy. Do you have any thoughts on those fires?
Well, I did a couple of pieces on those fires, and that's something that, once again, I'm just, I would say I'm a pretty normie guy, to be honest with you. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is crazy. And then I'm digging into it. I didn't even know about the existence of anything called the Andinia plan. I just recently learned about this whole thing. I'm sure you guys have known about that for years. And then you just see some of the evidence, right? I always just look for evidence. I'm looking at, the leader of the national parks in Patagonia saying that, well, we've tracked for a decade the number of fires there were and who's starting the fires, and 2/3 of them are from Israel. And then I look into this NGO that's based in Israel called the Backpackers Without Borders, right? I'm looking at local reporting, people saying, well, this is really weird behavior coming from these folks that are from Israel. They're all, they're wandering off into weird areas that are restricted. They're taking photos. They're, it seems like they're intelligence gathering or something like that that's going on here. So then I try to use those things to base, well, maybe there's more to it than just, forest fires. Right. Same thing with LA. I always tie it back to that.
Very
from
similar.
Last year.
Very similar.
Right. I'm like, well, was it just really a wildfire, or did something happen? Was there somebody who said it, or in the case of LA, specifically the Palisades, right? It looks like gross negligence from the part of the LA firefighting the LA fire department. Sorry. And so in terms of the Patagonia, I'm like, I think there's way more than on the surface here. And it's kind of difficult to talk about, especially on the internet, where I'm getting, a lot of pressure from up top to not say certain things or get removed from apps and things like that. So I'm like, I'm trying to navigate this story carefully. And I just try to go facts first. And then naturally, then the questions come of like, okay, where do these facts lead you? And that's kind of where I am with that story. It seems like, oh, wow, it's there's a lot going on, especially with the close relationship of Javier Milei with Netanyahu, right? Those are all things that are just factually true. And once again, I'll go with the thing that we were talking about earlier, is that you can ignore all of these conspiracies, right? But what's the next thing, and who's going to benefit? With these fires, there's going to be land grabs, right? They already said, after these fires, there could be foreign investment coming in. That's going to be allowed now. So it's like, okay, well, it doesn't matter who starts the fire. Now you're going to get a land grab. Yep. And the people who are ultimately hurt are the locals from those areas. Same with LA.
And I hate to say it to everybody, not to, pour salt in the wound, but that's happening in the Ukraine as well. You're seeing a certain type of people moving into the Ukraine as well, and the history of the Ukraine, and that's connections to Israel. I mean, and this conversation should not be dangerous. This should be, let's look at facts. But it becomes dangerous because, as we talked about earlier, the theory of hate is more dangerous than real world consequences. Here we are from the right now doing that. And the term woke right is so stupid, but there is a point that now they're doing the exact same thing they complained about when Biden was in, when Obama was in, the censorship, the crying of hurting of feelings and being meanies and hate mongering and all that stuff. They're doing the exact same thing. And it's like crazy to me that people can't have conversations without bringing emotional damage to it. It's just crazy to me.
Well, that's what you're talking about, is there's like a team game that's being played here. There's no consistency of principle, right? If you're a free speech absolutist, I think I saw, what was it, God Saad? I don't know how to say his name, but he was like, I'm a free speech absolutist, except for these situations. And I'm like, well, then that means you're not a free speech absolutist. There's exceptions to the rule. And the same thing goes with, like, let's say the government. You either want a lot of government or you want the minimal amount of government. You can't say, well, I want a lot, like, for example, I would say more on the liberal or Democrat side during COVID, they wanted more government. They wanted government to come in and regulate how medical interventions are being, distributed and things like that to people. And now they say, well, no, we got to abolish ICE, got to get rid of ICE. So that's less government now. So it's like they're picking and choosing which issues. Either you say, I want obviously a government to run all the necessities, but beyond that, it should be left to other more private organizations. Okay, fine, that's consistent. But it's like, oh no, I want more government here, but here I don't agree with this issue, so I want zero government here. I want free speech over here, but we have to protect these people, right? And so then that becomes just full of hypocrisy everywhere, and that's how you get people arguing. If you can get people aligned on principle, it's like, hey, this we respect the Constitution, or pick whatever it is, respect the Bible, whatever scripture that you want to use, and we stay consistent to that. That's, I think, how you can bring people back together.
Yeah, I completely agree. And the question is, do people want to come back together, or would they rather fight with each other on who's going to decide how to get out of the burning house? The house is burning, and they're like, no, you follow me. No, you follow me. And they just argue as the house continues to burn.
Yeah.
And at the end of analogy. And at the end of the day, I think we all just want to be able to live our best lives and have, raise our families and be happy. But there just seems to be a bunch of, an invisible hand just manipulating everybody all the time. And it's just in almost every aspect of our lives. And, over the weekend, my friend Nikki Glazer, she was hosting Golden Globes and she did great at it. But after that, I turned it off. Dana,
I don't know if there's any reason to watch it. I don't really get.
My friend was hosting it. That's I just
never watched it.
Yeah, it used to be a joke. It used to be you wouldn't do the Golden Globes, but then all of a sudden it's an award, so it becomes.
Well, they give a podcast award now. I heard that Amy Poehler won.
What?
That's crazy, right?
No, it's ridiculous.
What are we talking about?
Who was on that cat? Who else was?
Who the fuck knows, dude? I mean, Amy Poehler and everybody else has been on network TV over the past 20 years. Probably.
It's just ridiculous. So I just watched my friend do it, and she navigated incredible waters and did a great job. And then after that, I walked out of the room, and Dana's like, I don't even know any of these movies. I'm like, exactly. That's like if you look at like one battle after another, like there's a lot of propaganda in that movie. The problem is nobody watched it. They spent all this money on it, and like nobody watched it, so they're like freaking the fuck out. But they're giving awards to people who failed. Like hey, great role in a movie nobody watched. That's it's like
good movie.
You're one of the few who've said that. Everyone else has been.
You liked it, right?
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, critics liked it, but and it's. I mean, it's. I don't want. We won't get back.
I haven't even heard of this movie. I guess I don't watch too many.
The big
movies.
Leo movie from DiCaprio.
It's Leonardo DiCaprio, and it's what basically a lot of people in the conspiracy world think it was just propaganda to get people mad at ICE.
That's interesting because it's got a ton of like references to Satanists, like they worship like Santa Claus, Santa Claus, wink, wink. And it's like secret societies are referenced and stuff. It's a lot of things that are like you could argue a revelation of the method. I would think it.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
Right, but I mean, possibly so much so that it goes the other way, like where it's. I don't know. I think it maybe says too much, like to be fully propaganda. So, like if you know what you're watching, it's.
I mean, I'll give it a try.
I think you'd find it interesting.
But again.
Because like the so-called black hero woman is like a total idiot, and like she's a dipshit. Moron, like a
the one woman from it, she gave a speech about how like she's telling all the black women like we have the right to be in the room, and then someone put out the statistics of how many black women have won awards, and it's like 450 of them.
Oh, dude, that clip just keeps going around of her like, when has it been that we've ever had this many women nominated?
Oh yeah, that was my favorite clip. There's so good, it was the woman who did the Cocaine Bear. That's who was was reading the.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, the director of that, and she's like, "Guys, 5 directors are female in this category," and then the guy wins. It was
so funny, dude.
But yeah, man, it's interesting, James. You're doing a great job, dude. I mean, you're a very important person, and you know, sometimes.
Well, thank you for saying. I mean, I'm just trying to do my part. Like the sign behind me, right? It's just like, hey, every time you say what's true, you do your bit to help weaken the lie, right? Doesn't matter how big your voice is, you just kind of do your part. Maybe you convince one person, two people, and that's you just do your best, man. I think that's what ultimately. You know, I think what I try to do every day is I just do my best. You know, I get criticized. I've been called anything from a Nazi, anti-Semite, shit lib, just because I piss at. I mean, I go after everybody. If you know my stuff,
yeah, that's how it should be.
Nobody's safe in terms of my criticism, other than you, Sam. I love you.
Thank you, James. I think you're the fucking best. You're doing a great job. If you ever get like kind of like depressed or sad, it's just you're doing great. Sometimes the change comes very slowly, and sometimes we don't see it all at first, but then there'll be a time in which you'll realize like the impact you had on so many people, and this is how we win. Now, what that looks like, I don't know. You know, I don't know what that looks like, but I think if they had their way, they would have had digital IDs already. Half of us would be in the gulags. You know, we'd be on digital money. You know, Canada would be a part of America, you know. But if you look in England, they defeated digital IDs. Digital ID died. They're not going to do it now.
Did it die? I thought they were implementing digital
No,
ID.
they said that it's done.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So it works. It does work. Even with the heavy censorship of the UK, they still lost the battle. And I think COVID was a big play for them. They made a big move. It didn't go the way they wanted to. And it's like, good luck. Like, I don't know, James, you ever throw a party before? Does it ever go the way you plan it? It never, like, it just crashes and burns. I mean, it usually gets to the ends. Everyone has a great time, but you're like, oh, I wish we would have done this different, do that different. Now try doing that on a global scale, trying to get the entire world under one giant party, one design. It's good luck on that. Maybe at the top, everyone's stock lep, as you know, they're all stepping together. But at the end, as you go down, it just starts to chaos assumes. And I just think, you know, God and humanity ends up winning in the end. But I don't know how that looks when we get to the final stages. But I have faith, dude. I mean, because I think we'd be really bad by now. I think we would have a Department of Domestic Terrorism. That would have already been in if they got their way after I think January 6th was another big play of theirs that didn't go the way they wanted because it's just sloppy ass shit.
Well, I guess we're noticing that. I think that's because the new media has come out and exposed things very, very quickly. Because before, they would have been able to hide a bunch of this stuff and all the narratives that maybe people are talking about in their own houses and their homes and with their friends and their neighbors, but it never gets out there with the kind of virality. And now immediately, even with the fake videos that you're talking about, Johnny, on X, I'm more or less like, okay, well, you can post a fake video, but immediately it's going to get debunked by somebody. And that's more powerful than saying, all right, we should only have like 3 channels. You know, they get to distribute everything. I think we're still in a better space today than we were, even if we have to deal with like people posting fake videos or old videos claiming there's one thing that it's not. The information, just more distribution and democratized distribution of information is still going to be better than gatekeeping and only having, you know, certain people decide what gets communicated to the public. So in that sense, Sam, I think I still have a lot of hope in what we're trying to do out here.
You should.
And we just kind of keep fighting that battle every day, you know, being smart out there, of course, and just having humanity and empathy for as many people as you can.
I agree, buddy. Great show. Thanks for coming on. We had a wonderful time. As always, the time flies with you every time. One more time, James, tell them where they could find you.
You can find me on all platforms except TikTok at 5149 James Lee. Lee spelled with an I. You got the short form stuff on Instagram and X, and then the long form pieces that are 10 plus minutes on YouTube, which I've been working really hard on building out more. So definitely support me there. And if you want to support this kind of independent journalism, even beyond that, you know, you can go to my website, 5149jameslee.com, and you can become a premium member there as well. So I appreciate you, Sam, for having me on and always having my back. So, you know, we always look for people out there who are honest, and that's all you can ask for. And you're one of those people. I throw you guys in there as well, Johnny and XG, in terms of like just being good people out there in the world.
James, we love you. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
I look forward to getting down to San Diego, maybe jumping on your show sometime. If you'd let me, if you'll slum with me, I'd love to do it. But
Absolutely. We'll come up to LA, man. I was talking to Mark and I'm like, hey, we got to get Sam on the show. He's like, yeah, ask.
Anytime, dude. You have my number. Just if I'm in town and you're doing it, I'll come with bells and whistles, dude. I'd love to do it. So thank you, buddy. I look forward to seeing you in person sometime soon. Let's break down the episode. All right, guys. What'd you guys think of the man, the myth, the legend, James Lee?
Dude, there's nothing better than watching someone on YouTube and then they come here to the studio and do a podcast.
Yeah, we got to
us.
get him in here, dude.
Yeah.
We got to get him in here.
No,
we got to get him.
he does great shit. He's been killing it.
I mean, dude, he's like the perfect new media.
It's
Like,
funny. I haven't seen it. So what does he do? Kind of.
he just does like a 1.5 2-minute video on subject, and it's like very in depth. He's really good at disseminating information. I think he's great. I share his stuff all the time, whether it's Instagram or Twitter.
Him and Ian Carroll. They
I
look
haven't seen Ian Carroll's content.
No?
I just saw one recently.
Yeah, I'm not seeing as much either.
It's like they just kind of wiped him off.
He started talking about certain things, I think.
Yeah, but he was doing that a long time ago. It's just weird that it's happened recently, and you still see people bringing up Ian Carroll's name, but I don't see him that often.
I'm sure he's still doing numbers. Weird.
Numbies? Is he doing numbies,
Yeah,
dude?
he is.
We're in weird silos, the two of us. You know, like we see some.
We're so. Oh, Johnny! Oh my God, Johnny! I should shave this for Broken Sin, but
shave it?
I should shave it.
Yeah,
So I was doing Weird World War debate this weekend.
heard about it.
Michael Rechtenwald, his wife was there, and she told me about something very interesting, Johnny. And this is, she told me about tombstone algorithms.
I don't know what that means. Please tell me.
It's basically where, they're like, we're gonna loosen everything up. We're gonna censor less. But for certain people, they put them in a tombstone algorithm, which means they never get seen. They're being shadow banned even when everybody else is being seen. It's literally, look it up, tombstone algorithms. They hide you. And they do it to all the old ones. We've been talking about that forever. Johnny, I'm psychic.
Okay.
Am I smart or what, XG?
Do you think there's any way?
XG, am I smart?
Super smart.
Okay, thank you.
Wait, but you just said you were dumb like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, but I'm the world's smartest dumb guy.
Is there
But
any,
you see, like Ian Carroll, right?
Look at
Great
those
guy.
numbers.
We love him. Look at the
here we
numbers
go.
he's getting. Talk about stuff. Look at a year of tinfoil. Like, dude, he's doing. I'm not saying dude, what's that? 8 hours long? Look how long his shows are.
8 hours? Wow.
No, he just did he put out his streams into one thing and people just watch it.
Oh, he's doing numbies though.
He's doing numbies.
He's
Should
really
we start
good.
a podcast called Numbies?
Right. Hey, you know what he's been killing it on? And he went on Tucker for it, the Las Vegas shooting. He goes deep down that rabbit hole. Ian Carroll.
Props to Tucker for that was untouchable for a while.
I couldn't believe it was on it.
Yeah, I'm surprised he did that.
I mean,
honestly.
dude, Ian Carroll talks about the crazy, like.
Not Ian, I mean Tucker.
No, I know, but like, yeah, I mean, like, this is what we're talking about, dude. Is like, here we go, dude. It's just like, but and all love and respect Ian Carroll. We love Ian Carroll show.
Yeah.
Okay. We are the Ian Carroll lovers show of record. Okay. Full homo. All right. But look at the numbers he gets. We get just annihilated now.
Could we
Rumble
put Ian
start-
Carroll on our thumbnails?
Yeah, dude, let's
That's what
change.
I'm wondering. Yeah.
No, I just think that channel is just, we'd have to start a whole new channel for everything. And even our newer channel is taking a little bit of being.
It's not just the channel. They'll put it like your tag, Sam Tripoli. We should start calling you like Sam Durpoli or something.
Yeah, Sam
that's how that
Durpoli.
works.
What would you be your gay name if you weren't gay?
You would change your name?
I wouldn't change my name.
Sam Tripoli is his gay name, by the way, just so you know.
Yeah, it's
It's not that gay. It's a kind of manly name. That's what I'm
thank
saying.
you, dude.
Wanna-
Two dudes having sex is as manly as you get. I mean, that's all man. There's no
pretty good.
women
That's
in
all
there.
testosterone.
That's all men just going at it, dude. Right? Here, go down. But the really crazy thing, guys, is that Rumble's starting to give us numbers now.
Love it.
Rumble's giving us like, because for some reason, like, because my friend Kevin, who is at, no, is it Kevin? What is it? Richard? Fuck, I'm trying to remember. Rumble, hold on. I want to get.
You talking about Rick?
Rick, yeah. I'm sorry, Rick. I'm sorry I said that. You know I'm a retard.
You heard who knew your name, Rick.
Rick,
just remember that.
Rick, stop, Johnny, stop it. Rick, I'm sorry. Take that out. Okay, there you go. Edit that out. Thank you, Rick. Rick said that they told him he's going to. They're going to start featuring me on the front page.
Nice.
And dude, Cash Daddy's got 53,000 views.
So crazy.
That's the difference. It's like you get in the front page or get out. That's same thing with YouTube. If they don't feature on the front page,
you're over.
And like, look at Ben Shapiro because he can't buy ads anymore. There's not featuring him like he used to. His numbers are going.
Like, you know how I stopped getting Lex Friedman on my stuff anymore? I had to literally unsubscribe to him. I used to subscribe
there's certain
to him.
content creators I do not recommend this channel. Not recommend this channel.
Yeah,
all the trying to take out comedians content. Do not recognize. I just say
there's
I don't
so
know
much of that.
Dude, because comedians are the most accessible. Anyways, back to James Lee. I thought he was great. He's just a great guy, dude. He's just a hard worker guy. I felt bad bringing up all those conspiracies just because he seems kind of pure.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Well, I think he was there for it. I think he was.
I can't wait till he does a video on Operation High Jump.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait. It's going to be great, dude. Dude, those thumbnails are fire, right? That's a fire thumbnail.
Dude, this is just, ChatGPT is just killing it.
No, that was iPack who does all my thumbnails. Most of my thumbnails. All right.
Right here. Original Sam Tripoli right here. If you guys
look at
want
that original, dude. I should sign that.
You should sign it. Sell it
the
at every
Sam
show.
Tripoli original. Look at
that.
A nation of retards guarded by psychopaths.
All right. If it's so original, who's who? Who's this black guy?
Who's the black guy? That's my friend Marcus King.
So what was your prompt for that image?
Instagram retards.
That's what you typed in?
I typed a bunch of other stuff, but I'm not going to play your game, Johnny.
Yeah.
Go to Sam Tripoli.
He's trying to recreate your art. I can see that.
Oh, Johnny, good catch.
Yeah.
Guess who's in the number 2 seat now? Guess who's number 3? Suck it.
You know me, trying to recreate
Suck
insane
it.
art.
Guys, go to samtripoli.com. You go down. I haven't put any new dates up, so check out my premium content. I am telling you guys, my content, whether it's a Kurt and Sam experiment, whatever this is, Deep Conspiracy Rewinds, there's no better conspiracy premium content than what you're watching. Occasionally you get a buy chat. Go check it out. Love it, live it, love it. Johnny, can you tell
Love it, live it, love it. Right.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about Cash Daddies?
I can tell you a little bit about Cash Daddies. Cash Daddies is a show purportedly about finance where we talk about farting in elevators at length. And occasionally the expert on the show, Howie Dewey, will give you
Howie Dewey, bump, 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 bump. Hey, dude, if you want to beat the S&P, go to Cash Daddies. Listen, guys, other premium content that does this, they're like $200 a month.
Yeah, newsletters and stuff. Yeah.
Okay? $20 a month. You're like, that's a lot. Trust me, it's not. When you play the game, Howie Dewey plays the game. He's a chess master. He's an idiot savant, heavy on the idiot, and he gets it done. Go down. Chaos Twins, check it out. I promise you, by the next time, I will have a new update for you. And then go to the T-shirts. New T-shirt. I get my news from Sam Tripoli T-shirt. I'm gonna give one of those to Jeff Dye for free. This guy, because he told me, a bunch of people told me that I get my news from you. You know who else told me that? What is his name? Ooh, Nate Bargatze. Nate Bargatze,
really?
I get my news from you.
That's
I go,
funny.
I love it, dude.
My mom loves Nate Bargatze.
Who doesn't? He's a great comic. He's a great writer,
just that
too.
accent, it's like
Dude, you know
acceptable.
he used to be really dirty, and then he decided to work clean, and he just blew up.
Who? Oh, Bargatze.
Yeah.
I thought you said you knew.
So I get my news from Sam Tripoli. T-shirts now available.
$20, by the way. $20,
$20, man.
That's
We've been
it.
charging $20 for like a decade now. That's how
a shirt like this should go for what? $200? Would you say? That's what I would say.
I just can't. I can't charge people too much money,
Yeah.
dude.
And hoodies are 40.
Dude, shirts, it's amazing how much. Like bands will just F you in your beat.
$55. It's like,
you're
suck
lucky
it.
if it's $55.
Suck it,
Yep.
dude.
They're $70 now.
Yeah. Mineral Kings, Aquatine Hunger Force, Aquacure Hydrogen Brown Gas, Buy Gold and Silver, Chemical Free Body. Dude, Tim James, Chemical Free Body. I'm taking it every day, all the time. Every day. And I feel it if I don't take it. All the time. I'm constantly smashing it up, snorting it up. EMF rocks. Stop that dirty electricity. Prometheus. If you're a guy starting a show or you got something, you're constantly getting messed with hackers and all this stuff, Prometheus, trust me, get off. Dude, you'll be decentralized, make it happen. And Brain Supreme, if you love XG and his wonderful questions, you need to go to Brain Supreme. Anything else?
Hit that like button. Don't forget, go check out our YouTube. If you leave a comment, either Johnny, me, or sometimes Sam replies. But you will sometimes. But you will
It's
get a reply.
always Sam, guys.
Yeah.
Every time the person who replies is
I did
Sam.
that with Fluffy because Fluffy was at the Comedy Store and I'm always DMing him and he's always like, thanks, Sam, great. I walked up and I'm like, hey, Fluffy's just stared at me. Yeah. And then I realized he's got a social media person. That's the only person I've been talking to the whole time.
Yeah.
And he's a nice guy. That's no negative him, but I realized
like
he's
got time to do that.
Yeah, he's like hitting me back.
No, totally. Dude, I saw John C. Reilly. I pulled this for BS, but he had the funniest story about, he went on, what's the guy's name? The propaganda poster version of a Jew who does that. He's hilarious. The guy who used to be on Come Town with the glasses, who's on AC now.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I can never remember his name.
Adam Friedland.
Yeah, Adam Friedland. Yeah, he had John C. Reilly on, and John C. Reilly was talking about going on Bob Dylan's radio show, going on it. And what happens is they have a producer come meet you, and this producer asks you a bunch of questions, and they're like, "But answer it like you're talking to Bob." And then so so it's like, "Hey, well, tell me about an early memory of your mom," And like, well, Bob, it was, and then Bob Dylan goes on the radio and is like, I sat down with John C. Reilly a couple weeks ago, and I asked him what he thought about his mama, and it just plays it like he's in the room with. It's the total lie. He doesn't even.
That's why, like, when everyone's like, we're not gonna know it's real. Nothing's been real ever.
Yeah,
it's all been a lie forever. Dude, the hippie movement, gangster rap, pornography, none of it's real. Everything's been a lie. Stop acting like it's just a new thing. You've been lying your whole life. Your whole belief system is a fucking castle of sand.
If you want to see us watch that actual video, check out the new Broken Sim.
Check it out, guys. James Lee is an important human being. Protect him at all costs.
Yeah.
And he's doing those deep dives and he's taking chances on stuff. And it's like, yeah, it's really crazy how the Zionists are buying everything.
What do you think it means that he got barred from TikTok?
Well, because they bought the Zionists bought up the app and they kicked him up.
What does that mean for the future of TikTok? Like, do you think it just becomes like a pure propaganda machine? Like,
it's going to become dumb, violent, or piss people off as long as you're not talking about the Jews.
Yeah, it kind of moves in different directions, right? It's like the influence triangle changes. The things you're allowed to talk about.
Yeah. So, dude, is Silver taking a shit right now?
I mean, it has nowhere to go but down, you would think. It's so high. It's been so high. Let's see. Silver spot. Oh. Right. No, it is not. No.
Okay. My friend's like, get out of Silver. I'm like, why?
It's up.
Get out.
It's down a point, maybe. Not even a point today.
Get out.
It's up 10% on the week.
Okay. Respect on that.
Ask him if he knows something. Maybe he knows something.
Yeah, it might be some insider trading.
Dude, that's crazy. It's saying that doom scrolling has 0 comments on it. They're just ODing on stupid. So that's it, guys. And if you're looking for new content, all my shows are up on samtripoli.com. Yes. I think James Lee is great. I think he's important. I look forward to hopefully doing his show, and he's always welcome on this show. I mean, dude, we've done 4 great shows in a row. Can we stop? No. We're hurling towards the big 1,000th.
Can't stop, won't stop.
So once we get to 40, we really got to start going, when do we think this is going to happen?
Yeah.
And then try to get a date, set it up, and hopefully everyone can come and hang out.
We're holding off on Punch Drunk because it's the 500, the next one. We got to do something.
I mean, let's do an episode. How about that?
I know,
That'd be
but
fun.
we can't just toss off the 500. It's
Yeah,
a
we
special-
can.
No, we can't. We
Well,
have
do
to
you
do
guys want
something.
Ari
Ari's
back?
on the
I was about to
road.
say you want Ari back?
Jason's working on it with Ari. We'll see. We'll see.
The big fight.
Get Steve back, maybe.
Yeah.
For 500, it'd be fucking amazing.
Bring back. I'll try to get Danish and O'Neill on and just
Yeah, we
watch
thought
them
it-
yell with each other. At each other.
Oh, both of them? Yeah, good luck with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what about a bet? Bring the bets back.
No, dude, I paid off all
I
my
know you
bets.
do.
No, but none of these old guys are doing a bag of bets again.
Dude,
It's over.
Tebow ruined that.
That was so much fun. That's when I was
over.
like, what are you guys fucking doing over there?
Yeah, it was
Ari never
great.
did his either. He was supposed to get that chant going, and he didn't do it really well. He tried, but
There's only one real one, guys. Someday you'll realize that.
Yeah, where's that? Show me that picture of you naked on Twitter.
Okay, I'll find it for you, Johnny.
You have a screenshot of it. You don't.
Okay,
you don't have a link.
I'll
to
find it and repost it.
Okay, I would love that.
You think I'm afraid?
I do. Yeah.
You think I'm afraid?
What's the
Yeah.
picture of him? Went to hot dog?
Tell him.
So I had to. I forget what the bet I lost, but I had to take a picture of a burnt. Was it a burnt Dodgers hat over my junk?
Yeah.
And I just me naked with a Dodgers
That's
hat
not
on.
too bad.
Blood
He
sugar
did it for like-
magic. She has it.
He
Sex
got
man.
him though because they didn't say they said you had to post it. They didn't say you had to leave it online. So he just posted it online for like 30 seconds and then
Yeah, smart. There you
deleted
go.
it. Yeah,
I'll put it back up. Let me find it.
You
I'm gonna have to go deep into my pictures though. I gotta find out where I put it.
Kardashian them with your.
I'll put it up with
attorney
my
tricks.
fucking pear-shaped body.
Johnny Cochran them.
My pear-shaped body. Just hot garbage. Bro, wait. My friend Sean Mulcahy sent me a picture of me when I was in college. It was a week after I got my ass beat on the neighborhood, and it's just me with two black eyes.
What happened? Well, how'd you get your ass beat?
My neighbor just beat the shit out of
Why?
me. Because we were having problems, and then I was blackout drunk, and I was talking shit, and he just beat the shit out of
Do
me.
you remember it?
Fuck.
Me getting the shit kicked out of me? Yeah, I'm still talking about it fucking 30 years
said
ago.
No, I mean, you said you were blacked out. Do you remember what happened? Like getting your ass beat?
I was running, yelling at him, and then he came around, tackled me, and just beat the shit. And then I noticed that his friend was going to kick me in the head, so I just go bang. And then other people was like, okay, it's done, stop. But all I remember is him just punching me, and I'm like, I don't feel shit. And I
must have
didn't
been
feel
drunk,
anything.
right, yeah.
But I've been punched in the face a bunch of times. I didn't feel it. Not saying that I'm like Homer Simpson fighting bums or stuff like that, but, it's just... It's very weird, it's very weird.
Yeah.
But he just punched me. I'm like, I don't even feel that, dude.
Yeah, you should have told him that.
Did you
No,
see
then
that?
they would kill me.
I know that's what I'm saying.
Did you see that?
Oh, then you wouldn't be here, you dumbass.
Did you see that video, that viral thing where I guess there's new pedophile hunters, or now they'll get two pedophiles to meet up, and then they get them to fight each other, and the loser ends up going to
Do you
jail.
think that's real?
I don't know if it's real, but it looks pretty real because
Imagine
one of the
being
guys.
an actor in that, and then you get done with your work, you go home, everyone thinks you're a pedophile.
I'll send you the video. It looks pretty legit. One of the guys is all bloody, and he's like, "How does it feel to be the loser of the pedo fights?" And the guy's like,
Pedo
"It's-
fights. That's what they
Yeah,
call it.
because it's better than bum fights. I used to love bum fights, but
Yeah, you feel bad about bum fights.
yeah, I
Pedo
feel
fights,
great.
like-
You're two pedophiles now, and the thing is, even if you lose, you're still on the internet as a pedophile. You just didn't go to jail. It's still pretty.
And they don't just go, oh, let's arrest him too.
I'm pretty sure the cop. Well, they need a chat logs. So unless
so
they're-
they withhold evidence? That ain't real.
I'll send you
No
the
way,
video. Let me see if I can pull it up.
Dude, what are you, a boomer, dude? Believing AI?
This is not. Let me see if I can
Fucking
find it.
boomer. All right, guys.